Just
Adolescents are
need
it's
two
go.
minutes.
So yeah.
I will yeah, teacher, I will go to my save document.
Yeah.
Easy to note something
Okay.
and highlight. Yeah, teacher, wait. Boom, boom. I will start. Um, Draped in your mind, why staying home too long can harm your mental health. Number one, vocabulary and usage with phonetics, definitions, and example. Rumination, meaning the act of thinking deeply and repeatedly about negative thoughts or problems without finding solution. Example, after the breakup, she fell into deep rumination and couldn't focus on anything. Brooding, brooding,
Brood.
meaning
Yeah.
brooding, teacher, brooding or brooding,
Brooding. O sound. Brooding.
brooding, brooding, uh, meaning a sad or dark kind of thinking that focuses on past failures or negative feelings. Example, he sat in silence, brooding over his mistakes. Reflective, thinking carefully and calmly, often in a helpful way to understand or solve problems. Example, she became more reflective after reading the article. Preservate, uh, preservative,
What?
preservative,
It's yeah, preservative. Cognition.
preservative, co- uh,
Cognition.
cognize, cognition, mean the mental state where you keep thinking about the same negative things over and over again because the stress in the body. Example, even when nothing bad was happening, his mind stay in a state of preservative condition. Co-rumination, repeatedly discussing problems with others without finding solution. This can increase stress and anxiety. Example, she and her best friend kept ruminating about school problems and felt even more stressed. PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, a
This
serious disorder,
disorder. Yeah.
disorder, a serious mental problem condition caused by experiencing or witnessing something frightening or traumatic. Symptoms include flashbacks, anxiety, and emotional numbness. People who stay isolated during disasters often showed PTSD symptoms like sleep problems and fear. Insomnia,
Insomnia.
insomnia,
Insomnia. Sound like insomnia.
insomnia, near
Yeah, insomnia.
a condition where a person has trouble falling asleep or staying asleep. Her constant worrying leads to insomnia. Vitality. Way, way,
Vitality,
oh,
vitality.
why? Vitality. The state of being full of energy and life. Example, after walking outside in the fresh air, he felt a return of vitality. Isolation, the state of being alone, especially for a long time without contact with others. Long-term isolation can negatively affect mental health, social connection, the feeling of being close to others emotionally and socially. Strong social connection help people feel supported and less stressed.
Okay, good. Helena, can read the lesson now. Here's the lesson.
Tap, tap it, tap in your mind. Why staying home too long can harm your mental health. More vocabulary and um, usage with chronic definition and example. Word um,
Phonetic definitions and example.
rom, rumination,
No, phonetic. Read the word phonetic correctly again. Phonetic.
phonetic,
Okay. Rumination. So sound like rumination.
rumination, the act of thinking deeply and um, repeat repeatedly about negative thought or problem without finding solution. Examples: after breakup, she fell into deep rumination and couldn't focus on anything. Brooding, a sad or dark kind of thinking that focus on the past failure or negative feeling. He sat in silence, brooding over his mistake. Reflective, thinking carefully and calmly, often and in the helpful way, to understand or solve problem. She became more reflective after reading the article. Uh, pers- pers- Preservation. Uh,
Preservative. Sound like preservative.
Preservative.
Yeah.
Co- Preservative condition.
Yeah. Cognition.
The mental state where you keep thinking about the same negative thing over and over again, which causes stress in the body. Even when nothing bad was happened, his mind stayed in a state of um, preservative condition. Condition.
Sound like cognition. Cognition.
Cognition. Co-rumination. Um, re- Repeatedly discussing problem with other without finding solution. This can increase stress and anxiety. She and her best friend keep co ruminate ruminating about school problem and felt even more stressed.
Okay.
P- PTSD, post traumatic stress disorder,
Yeah.
a serious mental health condition caused by experiencing or witnessing something frightening or traum- traumatic. Traumatic symptoms include um, flashback, anxiety, and emotional mm, numbness. People who stay um, i- isolated
Isolated.
isolated during the disaster often showed PTSD symptoms like sleep problem and fear, um, inso- insomnia, insomnia, a condition where a person has trouble falling asleep or staying asleep. Her content worrying led to insomnia, virality, a state of being full energy and life. After walking outside and in the fresh air, he felt a return of viral, virality, is, isolation. Instead of being alone, especially for a long time without contact with others, long-term isolation can negatively affect mental health, so, social connected, social connection, a feeling of being close to others emotionally and so socially. Strong social connection help people feel support and less stress.
Peter. Hong Im, you can read the lesson.
Ruminations, the act of thinking deeply and repeatedly about negative thought or problem without finding solutions. After the breakup, she fell into a deep ruminations and couldn't focus on anything. Brooding, a sad or dark kind of thinking that focus on past failure or negative feelings. He sat in silence, brooding over his mistake. Reflect, reflective, thinking carefully and calmly, often in a helpful way to understand or solve problems. She became more reflective after reading the article. Perse- Perseverations, con- connections,
Perseverative cognition.
perseverative conditions, a mental stage where you think where you keep thinking about the same negative things over and over again. which causes stress in the body, even when nothing bad was happening. His mind stayed in a stage of persuasive connections, called ruminations, repeatedly the discussing problem with other
Discussing. Sound like discussing problem.
discussing problem with others without finding solutions. This can increase stress and anxiety. She and her best friend kept ruminating about school problems and felt even more stressed. PTSD, post traumatic stress disorder, a serious mental health condition caused by experiencing or witnessing something frightening or traumatic. Symptoms include flashback, anxieties, and emotional numbness. People who stay isolated during disaster often show PTSD symptoms like sleep problems and fear. Insomnia, a condition where a person has trouble falling asleep or staying asleep. Her constant worries lead to insomnia. Uh, without
Insomnia. So like insomnia. Insomnia.
insomnia. Without release, the stage of being full of energies and life. After walking outside in the fresh air, he felt a return of vitality, isolations, the stage of being alone, especially for a long time without contact with others. Long-term isolation can negatively affect mental health. Socials, the feelings of being close to others emotionally and socially. Strong social connections help people feel support and less stress.
Okay, who next? Sayata.
Repeat in your mind why staying home too long can harm your mental health. Number one, vocabulary. You say with phonetic symbol, definition, and example. Please. Word, rumination, the act of thinking deeply and repeat, repeatedly about negative thoughts or problems without finding solution. Example sentence: after the breakup, she fell into deep rumination and couldn't focus on anything. Brooding, a sad or dark kind of thinking that focuses on past failure, failures or negative feelings. He sat in silence, brooding over his mistake. Reflective, thinking carefully and calmly, often often in a harmful way to understand or solve problems. She became more reflective after reading the art- article. Perseverative cognition, a mental state where you keep thinking about the same negative things over and over again, which causes stress in the body. Even when nothing bad was happening, his mind stayed in the state of pervasive cognition, called
Nation,
rumination.
nation, not cognite, cognition.
Cognition,
Yeah.
called rumination, repeatedly discussing problems with others without finding solutions. This can increase stress and anxiety. She had her best friend keep co-rumination about school problems and felt even more stressed. PT, PTSD, traumatic stress
Okay.
disorder,
Disorder.
disorder, disorders, a serious mental health
Serious
condition,
mental health condition. Serious.
serious, sorry, serious mental health condition caused by experiencing or witnessing something frightening or through traumatic symptoms include flashbacks, anxiety, and emotional numbness. People who stay isolated, isolate during these the disaster often show PTSD symptoms like sleep problem and fear. Insomnia, a condition where a person has trouble falling asleep or staying
Trouble.
asleep. Trouble,
Trouble.
trouble. Her constant worrying lead to insomnia. Word vitality, the state of being full of energy and life. After walking outside in the fresh air, he left. If he felt a return of vitality, isolation, isolation, the state of being alone, especially for a long time, without contact with others. After working long-term long-term isolation can negatively affect mental health, social connection, the feeling of being close to others emotionally and socially. Strong social connection help people feel support and less stress. That's all, Cha.
Yeah, good. Ta. Yeah, pertama reading text.
Start number 2, reading text.
Yeah, okay.
Why staying home too long can hurt our minds. Sometimes staying home feels comfortable and safe, but when people remain indoors for too long without social interaction or purpose, they can fall into a mental state called rumination. Rumination means your mind gets stuck repeating negative thoughts without solving anything. Over time, this can lead to anxiety, depression, inson, uh, inso, insomnia, insomnia, and even PTSD symptoms such as fear, panic, or emotional numbness. This condition is not about physical laziness. Many people who stay home are not physically tired. They are mentally and emotional drained. It becomes difficult to even do simple tasks like getting dressed or going to the store. They may scroll endlessly through their phones, stay up late, and feel like they are resting. But in reality, they are losing their vitality. Study during the lockdown showed that people who stay in isolation for long periods were more likely to experience uh, perseverative cognition, a condition where the brain keeps sending stress signals even when nothing bad is happening. This makes people feel mentally stuck, tired, and overwhelmed. An effective way to reduce this stress is to spend time in nature. In one study, a 90-minute walk in the nature sitting helped reduce rumination and calm parts of the brain linked to negative emotions. Uh, one another important solution is social connection. Humans are social beings. Our brains are wired to feel better when we are around other people. Talking to a friend, laughing with others, or simply sharing how we feel can reduce mental pressure. Even though social media gives us some connection, it's not the same as real face-to-face interaction. People need to socialize because it builds emotional support, helps us solve problems, and reminds us that we are not alone. When people lose touch with others, they may also fall into co-rumination, where two friends constantly discuss the same problem without solving it, making both feel worse. That's why it's important to balance sharing problem, sharing problems with finding positive action and solution.
Okay. Next. It's a long reading text, but it's good to learn.
Number 4.
Yeah, go.
To read and take why staying home too long can hurt our mind. Sometimes staying home feel comfortable and safe, but when people remain indoor for too long without social instruction in interaction on purpose, they can fall into a mental state called rumination. Rumination means your mind gets stuck repeating negative thought without solving anything over time, this can lead to anxiety, depression, insomnia, and even PTSD symptoms such as fear, panic, or emotional dumbness. This condition is not about physical laziness. Many people who stay at home are not physically tired, they are mentally and emotionally drained. It's become difficult to even do a simple task like getting dressed or going to the store. They may scroll and endlessly uh, through their phones, stay up late and feel like they are resting, but reality they are losing their vitality. Studies during lockdown show that people who stay in isolation for too long period were more likely to experience
What,
pers-
what is it?
um
Preservative. Preser,
preservative
preservative.
preservative condition. This a condition where the brain keeps sending stress signal even when nothing sad is happened. This makes people feel mentally stuck, tired, and overwhelmed, overwhelmed, overwhelmed,
What?
oh,
Overwhelmed.
are overwhelmed.
Overwhelmed.
One effective way to reduce this stress is to spend time in nature. In one study, a 19-minute walk in nature sitting help reduce rumination and calm part of the brain like linked to negative emotion. Another important solution is social connected. Humans are social beings. Our brains are weird to feel better when we are around other people. Talking to a friend, laughing with others, or simply sharing how we feel can reduce mental pressure. Even though social media give us some condition, it's not the same as real face-to-face interaction. People need to socialize because it's build emotional support, help us solve problem, and remind us that we're not alone.
Okay. What? Wait. A little bit more.
When people lose touch with others, they may also fall into co-rumination, where two friends constantly discuss the same problem without solving it, make both feel worse. That's why it's important to balance sharing problem with finding positive action and solution.
Okay. Today we just read it. Okay, one more. Oh, next. Uh,
Number 2, reading text. Why staying home too long can hurt our minds. Sometimes staying home feels comfortable and safe, but when people remain indoors for too long without social in, inter, interaction or purpose, they can fall into a mental state called rumination. Rumination means your mind gets stuck repeating negative thoughts without solving anything. Over time, this can lead to anxiety, depression, insomnia, and even PTSD symptoms such as fear, panic, or emotional numbness. This condition is not about physical laziness. Many people who stay home are
Physical laziness.
physical laziness. Many people who stay home are not physically tired. They are mentally and emotionally drained. drained. It's become difficult to even do simple tasks like getting dresses or going to the store. They may scroll endlessly through their phones. They stay up late and feel like they are resting, but in reality, they are losing their vitality. Study during lockdowns show that people who stay in isolation for long period period were more likely to experience perseverative cognition, a condition where the brain keeps sending stress signal even when nothing bad is happening. This makes people feel mentally stuck, tired, and overwhelmed. One effective way to reduce this stress is to spend time in nature. In one study, a 90-minute walk in the nature get, getting help it reduce rumination and calm part of the brain linked to negative emotions. Another important solution is social connection. Humans are social beings. Our brains are wired to feel better than we are around other people. Taking to a friend, laughing with others, or simply sharing how we feel can reduce mental pressure. Even though social media give us some connection, it's not the same as real face-to-face interact, interaction. People need to socialize because it builds emotional support, help us solve problems, and remind us that we are not alone. When people lose touch with others, they may also fall into co-rumination, where two friends constantly discuss the same problem without solving it, making both feel worse. That's why it's important to balance sharing problem with finding positive action and solution.
Okay. Ta. Không êm.
Sometimes staying home feel comfortable and safe, but when people remain indoor for too long without social interactions or purpose, they can fall into a mental state called ruminations, Ruminations means your mind gets stuck repeating negative thought without solving anything. Over time, this can lead to anxiety, depressions, insomnia, and even PTSD symptoms such as fear, panic, or emotional numbness. This condition is not about physical laziness. Many people who stay home are not physically tired, they are mentally and emotionally drained. It's because difficult to even do simple tasks like getting dressed or getting to the store. They may scroll they may scroll endlessly through their phones, stay up late, and feels like they are resting, but in reality, they are losing their vitalities. Study during lockdown shows that people who stay in isolations for long periods
Isolation.
were
I.
isolations for long periods were more likely to experience positive connections, a conditions where the brains keep sending stress signals even when nothing bad is happening. This makes people feel mentally stuck, tired, and overwhelmed. One effective way to reduce this stress is to spend time in nature. In one study, a 90 minutes walks in a natural settings help reduce ruminations and calm part of the brain's linked to negative emotions. Another important solution is social connections. Humans are social beings. Our brains are wired to feel better when we're around other people, talking to our friends, laughing with others, or simply sharing how we feel can reduce mental pressures, even though social medias give us some connections. It's not the same as real face-to-face interactions. People need to socialize because it builds emotional support, help us solve problems, and remind us that we are not alone. When people lose touch with others, they might also fall into co-ruminations where two friends constantly discuss the same problem without solving it, making both feel worse. That's why it's important to balance sharing problems with finding positive actions and solutions.
Okay. Okay, tomorrow we have to read and translate it. So take your time and study everything. I'll see you tomorrow. Even the words, I need you to translate it. Good night.
Bye bye
Goodbye,
chị
Chair.
Trang. Bye bye.